is an aluminum falcon?
So I've been working on primering and stuff. As you can see, got lots of primered stuff over there too. There's my photo etch up there. But right now what I'm working on is the damage to the hull. And there is scratches on one of those. You see on the underside there. I think I've got this pretty much marked out. There's the big gouge that's in this side that I've got marked here. There's a little gouge over here. There is the gouge up there. The big one, the 5 holes there, marked off. After playing around with this kit and looking at pictures, the detail is awesome. It's just not always correct. So I'm having to kind of guesstimate, especially with there's those that are by the mandibles. There's scratches there with some of the stuff because, especially with this one, because that looks nothing like. It might actually be based on the computer model. So the computer model is different from the filming miniature, which is what I'm looking at. So those are the big main areas of damage. I did fill these holes with spot putty. There are little holes there because, let me see, yeah, little slots for these things to fit into. They will appear through the photo etch, so those need filling. And what else did I do? I think that's about it for the moment. I'm going to use my hobby knife for some of this because it's not as deep, but I am going to be using for this one especially, because this one is deep and it looks burned and it actually bows. So I think using this wouldn't be super inappropriate. I just gotta be gentle. Or I might just use the drill. So we're gonna get to destroying a little falcon here, and I'll be right back. So I've got all the gouges done here. The big one down here. And I did most of these with a hobby knife. I got the one right here, the one up here, got the one right here, and then the 5 meteor hits. I did those with a Dremel because, well, I don't think it would take forever with a hobby knife, and it wouldn't be round like this. These are deeper, but if I went any deeper, I'd go through this side. Actually, you could probably see that. You can kind of see where those holes are. There they are. In that little corner. That's the holes. So yeah, I probably would have went through the plastic, so I stopped. And I also have the gouges on this thing here. Those are a little harder to see, but they're on there. So I think outside of the one I have to do for this, right about there, I'm almost done with the major damage. There's tons of little blaster hits all over the ship. Tons of little boop boop boops all over the ship. And I'll do those with an airbrush when I start weathering, as opposed to making them physical. I'll do, yeah, airbrush, because that's what they did. They just took the airbrush, went psst, and made a little blaster hit. All over the place. They're all over. So, I'm going to get back to painting. So, it's Saturday evening. I am mostly done with my painting. Or at least halfway done. I should say halfway. Those still need paint. But this part of the paragraphics is pretty much done. There's a clear coat on it right now. I still have to paint the door surrounds, but the rest of this stuff is finito. This, however, is going to require a little more detail. The nice thing about this is most of these lights are either red or white. In fact, all of them are. But some of these panels are black. Let's see here. Let's see if I can highlight this. And this, let's see here. This panel right there is red. There's other random red panels. The tunnel, I was wrong. You don't use the other parts that come with the kit. You just use these, which means you'll be able to see through it. But there is a tunnel in between these that I'm going to have to scratch build. I'm actually going to have to fit these in and all sorts of stuff. What I plan to do is put little transparent plastic pieces behind these and just paint various sections red or white so it'll shine through in those colors. So I've got the underside here. This is just one coat of paint on that. These things turned out really good. I'm really happy with these. That undercoat of black is really making these details pop. You can kind of see it. And that's because I did the primer in black. All those details are popping out. He's also going to get a wash too, but that was done. What else did I do? Those are still in primer. The top of the ship is right here. Looks pretty good. I might not do a second coat because you know, I didn't put a. This is just a light coat, and I didn't do it very even because it's the Falcon. But I actually dig how this looks right now. I think putting another coat on here might ruin it because it looks so cool right now. It already looks like I've done weathering to it, and I haven't even touched it. So this might stay this color. And some other random sprue up here, just falling off. These are mainly covers for the what are they? Landing gear that I won't be using. Now I'm to the point where I have to cut stuff off sprue because it is completely different from the rest of the tree. Completely different color, like this. The tunnels, I have to paint those, the inside black again. You can really see the detail on these guys. It really popped out because of the black undercoat. I mean, look at that. That's insane. That's super tiny too. I mean, see if I can. Oh, tricky shot. See if I can get my big mitten here and see how small that stuff is. Again, that's my fingernail. And oh, too far. There. That is nice. So, halfway done painting, a little over halfway. Did I show this sprue off? Got this sprue done. There's the old cockpit. I'm not putting the glass in the cockpits or in the gun emplacements. Those will be free of. There's something nice. Nothing nice on here from this side. There's some pipes. Those will be free of glass, like the studio model was. And I didn't even really show off this. The scraping and scratching I put in turned out pretty darn good. Let's take a look at that. See, there's that big gouge that's underneath. I really like this one here. There's that gouge there. And then the gouge up on the front. Those turned out pretty darn nice. This does have 2 coats on it, and I almost think it's too much. It's so I'm probably just gonna go with the one for the top. Spray it with some clear. So I'll be back after more painting. There's the first fatality. I wasn't even clipping anywhere near toothpick this section, but it snapped off anyway. You can see I clipped here and it just snapped the whole darn thing off. So my chair is going to need some repair. So very careful snipping stuff off. Very careful. Because again, I snipped back here, yet it snapped that off. Question mark. Very careful. And after a whole day of painting, I am pretty much done with all of the major painting. The only thing I have to do is the underside of these, because there is a lip here, and I don't want to put any, even though I sealed these with clear, And you can see the difference between the matte and the clear. I haven't clear coated that battery pack section, so you can kind of see in the light how different it is. The fuselage of the ship is a lot shinier than that. So I'm waiting for the clear to dry and the paint to dry a little more before I mask all of this off, all these little holes here, this big hole in the middle, or I might just put the piece on. Probably do that. Then just mask off this little guy. So we'll see how that works. I've started to detail paint. We'll see how that goes. But I think that's going to do it for this this episode. Next episode, we will start the assembly. So I'll see you guys then.